Thursday. I know I'm late a little bit today. So, first of all, it is so hot outside for the last few days. I feel like Starbucks has been making like Christmas numbers because the line outside of every Starbucks within the 3 block radius has been insane. But apparently today we're getting some much needed rain, so I hope everybody gets to enjoy that. So, first announcement, there's a new policy that came out that people who have pending bona fide EU visa applications can get a work authorization, can apply for work authorization with some caveats. So the way that it usually works is that when a person applies for a U visa, they automatically are issued a work authorization when the U visa is approved. However, because there's only a certain amount of U visas that are allowed by law each year, that number has filled up years ago and actually created a 6-year backlog, right? So right now, the government is looking at spring, summer of 2016. So everybody who filed after that is kind of waiting in line. So the new policy came out on June 14th, and people who have bona fide applications for U visa can actually submit an application for a work authorization, and that is going to be given for 4 years. Of course, there's some caveats like with everything else, so if you want to know more, please reach out to us, Cohen and Tucker, PC. Now, that's the major news from last week. We have already sent a few of those out. So if you have a U visa application that is pending and you don't actually have the U visa yet, just the application that's pending, you potentially are now eligible to get work authorization and obviously, Social Security and stuff like that, and that would be issued for 4 years. So call us and we will give you more information. That's my little announcement. Very exciting. It actually is very exciting because there are a lot of people who are waiting for U visas, and there is absolutely no other avenue of relief for them. There's no way to get good jobs, to support themselves meanwhile. So we're very, very excited about that. Now, how does this tie into my next favorite topic, which is IRS? I, of course, do not give any tax-related advice. I'm not an accountant, I'm not a tax expert, I'm not a tax attorney. We only deal with taxes to the extent that it relates to the immigration. Like, we'll review the taxes to see if you're eligible to be a sponsor for your loved ones, but I don't actually give any tax advice except to say that you do have the obligation to file taxes if you work and make money in the United States. And there's a multitude of judges and USCIS applications where the government will ask to show that if you have been working in the United States, even if it is without authorization, that you have filed tax returns for the income that you have made. So that is as far as it goes. I cannot and I will not advise anybody on how much do we file, what's a TIN, how do I get it, well, can I use someone else's social security? No, none of that. I'm not an accountant, so we can't give you that advice. But we can tell you to definitely go to a reputable accountant or a tax attorney who knows, the tax code and ramifications and how to comply with it and what is the best way forward. Okay, so today we're going to talk too close about our favorite Form I-130. If you are a green card holder and you want to bring your spouse or your child under 21 or over 21 to the United States, If you're a U.S. citizen and you want to either bring your child, your parent, your spouse, your sister or brother to the U.S., this is step one. Even if they are in the U.S., this is step one. It's called a Form I-130, Petition for a Alien Relative. Nowadays it has 12 pages. I remember when I started it had 2 pages to it. This is a very important form. It is the first step in reuniting a lot of families. Now, there are circumstances where this is the only form that gets filed in step one. For example, if your loved one is overseas, then you will file this form and this form alone, and wait for it to be done before you can move to the next step. Please be very careful, because if you're filing for your spouse, then this form has a sister form that has to be filed with it, Form I-130A. Now, this form can be downloaded from USCIS. They also do have instructions on how to fill it out. It has a lot of biographical information, addresses, jobs, relatives, all of the information that the USCIS wants to know about you and the person you're bringing. It will ask you if you've ever been married before, right? It will ask you if you've been divorced, how many kids you have. And it starts like very, very simple. It actually asks you, who are you filing for, right? And then that will dictate the rest of the process. Now, I'm sure there are services out there who you could call and ask a question. We do not do that, because we're an attorney's office. So if you want us to work in your immigration case, we have to work on a substantial part or all of it. We don't provide services where you could just call and be like, on page 6, number 4, how do I fill this out? We don't do that. But USCIS does provide instructions. There are numerous in pages, and they cover most of the scenarios. If you're interested in doing it yourself, you certainly can take a crack of it. I find that a lot of people are intimidated by government forms. They think that if they make a mistake, or they don't disclose something, or they do disclose something, it can somehow negatively affect their case. So the benefit of an attorney is not only filling out the forms, it's the knowledge that we have as to what information, where to file, and what are the consequences of not providing a certain form, right? Because the biographical information you provide, it is our knowledge of the law, and our knowledge of the process is the service that you're paying us for. I've had a lot of people who took a crack at it and got intimidated, stuck, or made a mistake, and had to return back to us for us to help them out. I'm not saying it's everybody. There's absolutely not. In fact, in the United States, you can do any type of thing by yourself. Technically, you could go and argue in front of the Supreme Court. Now, the question is, do you want to? Because obviously, if you've made a mistake, if the form is denied, if things are filled out incorrectly, it can have consequences for the follow-up processes. It's interesting because I have had cases where information was not properly disclosed on this form, and then years down the line, it had become an issue when the person who in turn already got the benefit was applying for someone else, and then the immigration came back and said, well, we pulled out your records, and it turns out that 15 years ago you did not disclose a child or something that you're trying to bring over here right now, or your parents' name was different from what you're saying they are now. The important thing to remember is that today is a digital age, and everything is electronic. And when you stop a process in immigration, it doesn't go away. You don't get a blank slate. The entire history with immigration is tied to your A number, and it is one file per person. So if you applied for 3 wives, they will know about it because you've submitted paperwork, and every single time you get divorced and remarried, the past in immigration terms does not get erased. So if you have provided one information on one I-130, and then 5 years down the line you're submitting another I-130 for a different process, and you're providing different information, that is going to not match up and can potentially create issues that may or may not be resolved. Depends, right? Certain applications also require different types of evidence, because obviously this is just the form. The form requires evidence, and the evidence that need to be submitted, documents need to be submitted, are different depending on who you are applying for. Also, some of these require US passport pictures to be attached, like in the case of a spouse. Some of them don't. I honestly, sometimes there's no way to submit digital pictures. We submit paper pictures. Sign them, submit them. It's been the same way since I was in diapers. But USCIS is making progress to making things more digital. It's gonna take time. The wheels of the government do turn slow, so don't expect miracles. But there are making progress, and there has been a lot of things that we are able to do online with them now. How do we usually do this? So you have options, right? Let's say you retain us to do a case. Let's say you're bringing a spouse from overseas. Let's say you're a US citizen. I have digitized the entire process for you. You really don't need to come to the office at any point of the whole process. Most people choose to come and have at least one conversation with me in person, but it can all be remote and digital, just the way I'm talking to you right now. And let's say you decide to do it digitally, meaning by video and stuff. So, we have a conversation, you ask me whatever questions you have, we start the process, we can send you the retainer, all payments can be made online, we have a variety of different ways that you can make payments, and then we send you a questionnaire. We can send it in a multitude of different languages. You can literally have your Starbucks, or have a cup of coffee or wine, keep it back in your house, and just fill out the information. And it is very, very beneficial, because when you're in your home and you're relaxed and you have all of your documents with you, you don't have to worry, did I take this, did I not take this, oh my god, where did I live 15 years ago? It's fine, because you have the time to answer that. Once you answer that, that gets automatically, we get notified that has been done, and we will 90% of the time just schedule a video call with you to make sure that we go over everything is correct, and everything is in order. Now, signatures, USCIS does not accept DocuSigns or any type of electronic signature. They do now accept, because of the pandemic, I don't know if they're going to revert back to their old rules, but because of the pandemic, they accept facsimile signatures. That means that if it's not an original signature, that is a copy of a signature sent to us by mail, you can mail by email or by fax or by text message. They accept that right now, but no electronic signatures like DocuSign. We also give you a list of all the documents that we need from you. None of them are originals. Everything is a copy. So you have a choice. You can scan it and email it to us. You can fax it to us. Or if you're a little bit more comfortable with technology, we can, send you a link to register with our platform, and you'll have your own private individual electronic file where you could just upload whatever you need to, and only we have access to it, right? A lot of the times we use it for sensitive things like taxes. It's secure. It doesn't get translated by email. You're not going to send it by mistake to someone else. And then the payment, the Form I-130, regardless of who you're filing for, has the same tag. It's $535 currently. The fee is also listed on the website, and the fee is paid directly to U.S. government. We do not collect the fee. It is not a part of our retainer. We just put a check that you provide on top of the form, and we mail it in, right? Once you mail it in and the government has accepted it, you will get a receipt, and on a receipt there will be a few things. First, you will be able to check whether they spelled all the names correctly. It will have the beneficiaries, which is the person who you're bringing over, date of birth and the country of citizenship. It will also have your receipt number, then you can then check online and track its progress. It will also have the service center that the form has been assigned to, and it will have your priority date. Now, priority dates become very important when it comes to adult children over 21, married adult children, brothers and sisters, and used to be for spouses of green card holders, not so much now because that category is current. Priority date is the date when you kind of got online. So let's say there is a backlog of 5 years, the way that there is for an adult child of a green card holder who's unmarried. That means there's 5 years of people ahead of you who have to get processed first before it is your turn. But how are you going to know when it's your turn? You have the priority date that you can keep tracking with the National Visa Center, and when it is current, that means it's your time to move on to the next step. I think that's it. If you have any questions about the Form I-130, not questions, how do I answer page 12, number 1? I will not answer those. If you want help with that, we can certainly do it, but then we have to represent you in the whole process. But if you have legal questions, then of course, text us, email us, subscribe here, because I always make announcements at Thursday at 10 a.m. on Facebook. I know there's a delay between Facebook and YouTube because we sent the video to get edited a little bit and then uploaded to YouTube, and we're hoping to make that process more expeditious. But like with any of my projects, it takes time. It's a work in progress. I also wanted to tell anybody who's watching now that we will be closed Monday the 5th. We will be continuing the celebration of Independence Day, but we will be back on Tuesday the 6th. I will update all business hours, and we will be sending out an email with respect to that. I hope everybody was well through the heat wave, and whatever heat wave is coming. I hope you guys are gonna enjoy the rain that is coming. Much needed relief. I hope everybody has an amazing 4th of July. I actually cannot believe that it's already July. I feel like I was just telling you about May and how it's my favorite time of the year, And here we are in July, and soon I'm going to be telling you about Labor Day, and then you and I are going to celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving. But that is our circle of life. A lot of amazing things are happening when it comes to immigration. July 6th, New York Immigration Court reopens, unless we will be notified otherwise, but we have not gotten anything. So we are so excited because it has been almost a year and a half, a very, very tough year and a half, and I'm glad that our clients stuck by us and we stuck by them, and with a lot of people, with a lot, develop amazing connections, and we're continuing to stay in touch. Even after their cases are over, they come, they say hi, they bring their friends, they bring their relatives, and we're glad to welcome them into our work family. So, with that said, thank you. We'll see you next Thursday. I will see you next Thursday, hopefully. And if you missed this today during live, you can also go to our YouTube channel, Cohen and Tucker PC, and watch all of the videos that I have been doing for you since March. I will see everybody back here next Thursday. Have a